like I said, as I have in the studio here, Dr. Constance Ikokwu, a RISE analyst. Thanks so very much for joining us. Let's reflect again on the French parliamentary elections, the results so far. The far left, taking the lead with about 172 to 192 seats, no clear-cut majority, and Macron's party is coming second. But the surprise of the very first elections last Sunday is far behind at 152 seats.
Yes, yeah, it is a surprise to many, well, to some, and then it is also a shock to others, but it's what it is. I think that this French election has been watched very closely because it's very important to Europe and then to the rest of the world. It's important to Europe for several reasons. Number one, France is the biggest economy in the European Union. Number two, it has one of the largest populations in the bloc. Number three, it plays a key role in the EU. By extension, every other thing that they're doing within the within the European Union, it has really stepped up its activities, especially following the Ukraine war. So everybody was watching to see what was going to happen. In the light of the fact that also during the European elections and the first round of elections in France, the far right pulled off a political upset. So people wanted to see what will happen here after the first round of elections in France. Then it has happened that they are in the third place. So Macron's party has come second and the far left has come first. And why did the far left come first? After the first round of elections, there was a lot of shock, so they had to rally round. The National Popular Front had to rally round and ask their supporters and other voters to come together to make sure that the far right doesn't come into power.
Because they're anti-immigration.
It's not only about immigration. There are several issues, that are going on. Yes, immigration is top on the agenda for the far right because they feel like they need to take their country back, they need to take their continent back. That's one issue. But there's also other issues, religion. France has the largest population of Muslims in Europe. So there's always that religious conflict within the country of Muslims thinking they are being clamped down upon, and then the French thinking that, no, you are in our country, so we make the laws and the rules and you have to obey it. And if you do not like it, then leave the country. This is France, this is the French Republic. So you have that political, religious conflict going on there. It's an issue. But also for the far left, there are so many other issues that come up. Macron's party has not been doing so well. In 2017, when he came into power, he was only 39. And he had a lot of support. There was a lot of hope. He seemed progressive. But since then, he has been having serious problems within the country. So a lot of French people think that all the reforms he has been carrying out is against the French people. And then, therefore, his party should no longer be in power. So, for instance, for the National Popular Front, they are saying they are going to scrap the 2023 French pension reform law that was passed by Macron. So they're going to reverse the age of retirement to 64. That's very important to French people. They don't want to work all their lives without retiring quite early. And then they want to increase the salaries by 14%. They want to give the tax breaks for the wealthy. They want to reverse it. And then they want to raise income tax on the highest earners. So these are issues that are out there for the National Popular Front, and that is why a lot of people rally around to make sure that they came first.
Particularly in the second ballots, because,
exactly.
Sorry, just before we go very quickly, it looks as if there is a hung parliament here. How do you see the far right and Macron's party coming to form, a government at the center? It's
going to be a bumpy road ahead. Because Jean-Luc Mélenchon of the NPF already, is hinting that he has the mandate, his party has the mandate, so Macron needs to resign. The Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, has already indicated that he will offer his resignation. But Jean-Luc Mélenchon is saying that he has the mandate and Macron needs to give them the power to form the government. And he sounded like someone that is not ready to compromise. He has said that everything that he's promised his party members, his supporters, they are going to go ahead with it. Macron seems to be like almost a dead man walking. All the credibility that he had before, all the support he had before, he seems to have faded. Now it's difficult for him. I do not know whether he's going to resign, but there will be a lot of pressure on him. On the other hand, the far right is sitting and laughing and hoping that this coalition does not work. Because if this coalition fails woefully, or they continue to bicker and they don't work together well, it will be another gain for the far right in the next round of elections. And so the far right is biding its time. It hasn't achieved the leap that it hoped for in this election, but it has made significant gains, and that slow and steady ride will definitely continue. That's what we're going to see going ahead.
Look at the beauty of democracy and the elections there. 28-year-old contesting to become the president of France.
Yes,
when would that when would that happen in this part? Well, we had once a 28-year-old, 27, late Captain Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. Then he was 27 when he became head of state, but
that was a long time ago.
Can we say that in today's Nigeria?
Well, all the old people in Nigeria need to retire and begin to mentor younger people. But, you know, when he was giving his speech this evening, Jordan Bardella, the young leader of the national rally, he seemed, a bit tamed, because they didn't get what they were hoping for. But you could see in him that he knows that they're not going anywhere.
The future is bright.
Yes, they're not going anywhere. They're in for the long haul. And even Marine Le Pen, when she gave her speech, she said their victory is only delayed. That means they know they're going to continue the fight. The political landscape in France and in Europe has changed forever. And I think it's going to continue. It will not be dampened. It's going to be a tough one for the far left. Yes, that broad alliance that got together to make sure that they beat the far right back. Hopefully, the broad alliance will be able to hold itself together. But in the next few months, we'll see what happens, whether they are even able to get a government together.
Thank you so very much. No better place for you to
You're
drop
welcome.
the anchor. Dr. Constance Ikokwu, Arise analyst.